Alright, we've all been there. You find an old metal mini, maybe from eBay, maybe from projects long past that you had every intention of finishing off, possibly from the depth of your pile of shame. Please don't judge my pile of shame in this box. But it's covered in a decade's worth of dodgy paint jobs. Time for a fresh start. Today, I'm going to show you the best way to strip a metal miniature without ruining it, because trust me, it can go very, very wrong if you're not careful. The method I'm going to be showing you today is only for metal models. No plastics, no fine cast, no resin, only metals. If you do this with any kind of plastic, you'll end up with a melted pile of sadness, much like this what used to be dwarf over here, which we left in acetone just to see what would happen. He ain't going to be defending Moria anytime soon. Acetone, also known as nail polish remover, is absolutely amazing at stripping metal, but it will straight up just dissolve and melt plastics, particularly dwarfs. If you are stripping a plastic mini, now I don't tend to because I always worry about losing definition on the model, but you will need something gentler, like isopropyl alcohol. But today I'm going to be using the full strength acetone because metal models can handle it, within reason. First off, let's talk materials. As you can see, we have this expertly and very neatly laid out work area here. I've got my two Aragorns from the Breaking of the Fellowship box, two very rare and sought after models. The first one, bless him, from an older eBay listing, has seen better days, got quite a lot of green on him. The second one just got some undercoat and some paint on the face where I initially started painting him for a long lost project. I have some ceramic tweezers here just for moving the model in and around the acetone. I have a toothbrush, which is going to be used just for getting rid of the bulk of the paint once it's softened from the acetone and getting rid of those larger surface areas of old paint. I have some little dental brushes here with some little picks on the end. These are for really getting into the nitty-gritty areas, all those nooks and crannies where the paint is a bit harder to shift. I have a glass bowl. I recommend glass over any kind of plastic. As I said, the acetone can quite easily melt plastics, and the last thing you want is your bowl of painty acetone to be flooding your desk. So a glass bowl is preferable. Of course, I have the acetone in question. I'm talking, I have the neat, I have the pure stuff. None of your fragranced nail polish removers. We're talking the good stuff here. I have some nitrile gloves here as well. As said, the acetate is very strong and can be an irritant to hands, so it's recommended to use gloves while manoeuvring a model and handling acetone. You can also wear a mask and safety glasses if you need to. Okay, first things first, I'm going to start just by pouring my acetone into my glass bowl. As you see, my glass bowl is not melting, so I've picked well here. You want just enough in the bowl just to be able to cover the surface of the model and keep it completely submerged beneath the surface of the acetone itself. So, here we go. Are you ready to go on this stripping journey? That could sound better, but here we go. First off, just drop your metal mini into the acetone bath. Not from a great height, don't let this splash around. Again, be safe. Don't let this get into your eyes or onto your skin if you can avoid it. But just let it sit under the surface of the acetone. Let it sit below the icy depths of the level of acetone. And let it sit for about 10 minutes max, 5 to 10 minutes. Any longer and you're going to start to soften the glue or damage any of the finer details on the model. Again, acetone doesn't have a great effect on metal models, but prolonged exposure will start to eat away at some of the details, and any glue you've got holding various bits of models together. The Aragorns I'm using are all one piece, but then you can start dissolving the glues, and then you've got to not only glue your model back together, then try and strip it as well. When you're ready, pull it out and just start giving it a good old scrub with your old toothbrush. You should start seeing that the paint comes off really easily. If there is any stubborn paint left, just dunk it back in for another few minutes and then scrub again. But make sure that you've given it a rinse before you dunk it back in, just to prevent any of these details getting worn away by prolonged exposure to the acetone. Alright, a few things to keep in mind here. Again, just to reiterate, do not use acetone on plastic or resin models. They are going to melt and they're going to look like an extra from a horror movie. Do not leave your metal minis soaking for too long. More than 10 minutes at any one time and you risk detail loss. Don't leave your minis sitting in acetone overnight. I've done that. I've had some sad looking Fellowship members as a result of that. Superglue will break down, and if the Mini has any old putty or primer build-up, you could start losing more detail. Ventilation matters, and I'm being deadly serious here. Acetone fumes can be strong, so make sure you do this in a well-ventilated area. Superglue will break down. If your Mini was assembled, expect to re-glue parts. And if you've got any primer or paint that really won't budge, some of that stubborn, like first box of miniatures paint that you've had in your box for God knows how long, that just really won't come off, just try gentle scraping with a toothpick or a small dental brush, just to really get in those areas and get that stubborn paint out of those recesses. But just be careful not to scratch too much, as the metal might be a little softer just with the exposure again to the acetone. For those eagle-eyed among you, the manly butch hands that you saw molesting my Aragorn a second ago might have changed to Mrs. Mithril's far more dainty and precise hands, as I don't trust my sausage fingers around such a delicate and quite rare sculpture of Aragorn. So Mrs. Mithril is doing the detailing of demonstration here for you today. And that's it. Once the paint's off, rinse it under warm water, give it a dry, and you are good to go. And now that Aragorn's clean, he's ready for a fresh coat of paint. Something about using him for a GT maybe, and he might look a little bit something like this. And there you have it, a simple, effective way to bring old metal models back to life. If you've got any horror stories about stripping models, like, oh, I don't know, melting a whole squad of plastic minis by accident, then I'd love to hear about them, so make sure you drop them in the comments and we can all share in each other's hobby blunders together. If you found this helpful, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more painting and hobby tips, and make sure you hit that notification bell to get the notifications when videos go live on the channel. Take care, guys. I'll catch you all in the next one, and as always, happy hobbying.